So in this wonderful year 2025, we got the
100
greatest.
subs.
What? Oh, yeah,
Thank you
yeah,
for 100 subs.
yes. That is what we got. That wasn't what I was gonna say, but you are right. We are at 100 subscribers. Thank you, everybody that has subscribed and started watching. Shout out to you. We have more things planned. Hopefully, special things for the 100 subs. But what I was gonna say, in this year, we got the greatest trade deadline ever in sports history, any sport for that
In my
matter.
lifetime, for sure. I don't know about the couple ones in the past.
No,
I
there's
mean,
no
I
way.
know a couple ones in my past, but for sure in my lifetime, this has to be the greatest
It is
trade
by.
deadline of all time. Thank you, Shams. Your first year.
Yeah, I don't think it's close, to be quite
Jesus.
honest. I don't think it's close. I think this is by far the best, most insane trade deadline ever. Nine former or current All Stars got traded this trade deadline, including, of course, Luka and Anthony Davis. If you want to just talk about that, we have a whole video about it. It's the last video we uploaded. Go check that out. But even since then, which was like 4 days ago or something, I don't know exactly. Even since then, we've gotten even more
4 days ago, yeah.
absurd and just crazy, crazy trades. So we're gonna break down the rest of those trades. Just talk about them because I don't blame you if you lost some of it in the mess that was this trade deadline because there was too much going on. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it with the guy sharing PJ's screen in his room. He's actually in PJ's room right now.
Room.
Because we are in California. Um, Jimmy Jimmy Butler traded to the Golden State Warriors, joining Steph Curry and Draymond Green in exchange for Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, and a first. And I guess David Mitchell ended up going to the Heat eventually,
Yeah,
somehow.
eventually. It's in the Raptors trade.
Yeah. But anyways, Jimmy Butler. I was on record saying I was be surprised. I was questioning if he was actually going to be traded, and I think this is more of an indicator of where the Warriors are at than it is about the Heat. How do you how do you feel about the Warriors not only trading for Jimmy but signing him to a 2-year, $120 million contract,
When
immediately
I
committing?
when I messaged you about the money, I was like, this is ridiculous. LeBron's not even getting paid that much. I mean, I
Mm.
know he wants to take a pay cut to see if someone else would join in the offseason, but 120, that's what, 60.5 mil a year. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't know how the money works, but gosh,
I mean
man.
it's that's the money. It's 60 and a half mil a year. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if there's a nice way to word it. Like that's just how it is.
Like, I just want to know how it's going to work out when they start playing.
Well, yeah, of
But
course.
I had seen like a tweet say that who got the over on the point five punches landed, Jimmy Butler or Draymond Green?
They're both going. If one of them's swinging, the other one's swinging.
Yeah,
it's
they're my
it's
dogs.
it's just a will a fight start point five over under. But yeah, this was very interesting to me. I'm not gonna say it was bad necessarily because all this means to me is that the Warriors are very desperate and they are trying their hardest to get Steph in the playoffs one more time. And if Jimmy Butler locks in, if he locks in, we've seen him do very well in the playoffs. Obviously, he's older. He's coming off injuries, and he has to lock in.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were trying to get KD in that trade, and KD was like, "Nah, I don't want to go back to the Golden State Warriors."
Yeah, the whole KD thing is a whole nother thing we can get to later
There's a
because
lot. Yeah,
the whole Suns situation is nasty. But yeah, Jimmy to the Warriors. I mean, it's like it really is like all in on this being like the last dance for Curry. They're like, we'll sign Jimmy to 2 years, and then if Steph retires in 2 years, Jimmy walks, Draymond walks, and then we're just starting new. That's what I'm assuming the thought process is, which is why I don't
Makes sense
like.
because they have Kuminga still.
Yeah, they have options. But that they were in that weird purgatory, you know, where they were like, they had Curry still and Draymond, but they also had all their young players. And it was like, we're trying to do two things at once, and it's like, it's not working. So they committed. They're like, all right, let's just get Jimmy Butler. We'll trade away Andrew Wiggins. So I hope, for Curry's sake, that they make the playoffs because I like watching Steph Curry play.
Mm-hmm.
But they will have to make the play-in still. It's not a guarantee, especially if the Kings are legitimately improving with all the trades they've made.
Right.
They would still be competing with them, the Suns, and like another team that I forget.
So right now, who is in the playing contending spot is the Mavs. Oh no, Timberwolves, Mavs, Kings, Suns, and 11-12 is Warriors and Spurs, and they're super close.
So if Jimmy can just channel it, channel his alpha dog energy that he is branded for. We have a little interesting playing team because I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know if they're gonna get to the 6th seed. It's a long season, maybe, but
It is a long season. I just want to know what Jimmy's role is gonna be on the Warriors. I wonder if Steve Kerr's just gonna let him do him on Steve Kerr's offset offense, because him and Draymond have similar roles. Besides, one's better at scoring than the other. So
I would I would I would say Jimmy's a lot better at scoring than Draymond.
100%. I mean,
I
I just
think
saw a clip uh 5 minutes ago about Luka laughing at Draymond for missing a wide open layup. So
I think Draymond's still gonna just chill in his role, and then Jimmy's gonna take a decent chunk of the scoring responsibility. I don't know how long it'll take him to get acclimated or whatever, but yeah, it just it is. I do prefer when teams just send it instead of sitting in like the middle ground. I do prefer when they're either like, we're rebuilding, we're hitting the rebuild button, or they're like, we want to make the playoffs, we're gonna do whatever it takes. So I'm with it. I'm with it for both sides actually, because Jimmy, like I said, he has gone for second rounders and bench players in the past. Is very possible it could have happened this time, but Warriors are desperate. You get some assets, and they, like I said, they got Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, David Mitchell in the first. So for a team that's already been doing pretty well without Jimmy, now adding more players that are like serviceable and good, kind of fun. It's kind of cool. They're the 6th seed right now in the East, so pretty decent chance to avoid the play-in.
I don't know. The Heat, they can go up or they can go down. We just got to see how they play. To be
I mean,
honest, I can't really. I mean, from what they got at the end of the trade, it's so considerably good. So,
yeah.
and they got a first round pick in there. So
Right, yeah, I think this is almost best case. This is pretty much best case scenario considering how hard Jimmy's value got tanked by himself. So, if you're the Heat, I feel like you take that. And then
what would you grade this trade
the for the
between the
Heat,
two teams?
probably B plus or A minus, and then for the Warriors, probably like a B.
Yeah, I, I give I give the Heat an A because the first round pick is literally next year.
Yeah,
So I don't know. It's first round pick. I don't know if it's gonna enter the lottery either. So
yeah, it's protected, but I don't know what the protections are exactly.
So
Yeah,
yeah, I'll give the Heat an A, and I'll go along with you as a B because we don't know what it's gonna be for the Warriors. But it's still a good team. At least they got their star that they were looking for.
yeah,
Yeah, I know Steve Kerr was pissed.
yeah. Well,
I had read all the shits where he's like, oh, he had everyone in the locker room, and then he found out the trade happened, and he had like put his head down or some shit.
let's see. Where should we go next?
Should we
There's
go with another exciting one?
there's a lot of. I mean, I was only gonna start with the exciting ones because there's a lot of them still.
All right.
Where do you have one in mind?
Yeah, the Hawks one.
Okay.
Like that one. For some reason I don't see it, but I know Sham said
No,
someone had
definitely. I
put.
mean, I think this website's kind of cooked. I know what you're talking about. Um, so DeAndre Hunter
Yeah.
traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers, who for what like 2 seasons now, we've been saying they need a three,
Uh-huh.
and what do you know? One of the best 3-and-D wings in the league from a you know role player perspective, not like
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
just talking like
He's not a star, but
right, right,
he's
right.
one of the top scorers in the Atlanta Hawks. And
Yeah,
he's now on a team where they actually needed someone who could do what Max Strus does, but better and play
I would
defense.
say actually, I mean that even the defense is monumentally better than Max Drew's. No shade,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Oh yeah, no
come on,
shade. I mean, you're still on the team, Max Strus. We're
come
looking
on.
at you. Some nights I see you scoring, and I'll put you on my parlay, and you'll be hitting for me. So I see you still.
Yeah, so the trade is DeAndre Hunter to the Cavs for Karis LeVert, Georgie's Niang, 3 second-round picks, and 2 first-round swaps. So
Was Georges Niang in the Caps?
I guess so.
Oh damn! But
I guess so.
no disrespect, I thought you were still in the Sixers, dog.
I, with all due respect, I don't follow him too closely, so I guess. But yeah, um, they
That's
got
a
their
W
three.
pickup right there.
They got their three, and I do like that. Uh, I do think I think we talked about this before, but it's very interesting how much better this team looks now,
Hmm.
even before this DeAndre Hunter trade. The
Yeah,
team overall just looks so much better than they have in the past 2 seasons,
right,
and now that everything's actually falling into place, now they're able to trade for the potential like final piece they need to like
right,
contend with the big boys, to have another plus defender for even like a Celtics matchup,
right.
another defender on Jason Tatum or Jalen Brown. Like that's huge. So I love that once everything's starting to like it looks like it's falling into place, then they're like, all right, now we're putting our chips in. Now we're gonna trade our assets to go get
Hmm.
this guy. So I'm really
Yeah, I
excited
mean,
for the playoffs. I mean, obviously that's
100%.
months,
Yeah.
but like obviously for a team like the Cavs, this is a playoffs move. This is a championship contending move. Like,
The fact that their record is 41-10 right now, I don't know if it changed if there was a game today, but the fact that their record is 41-10 and they traded for a valuable asset in DeAndre Hunter is huge.
yeah,
Their ceiling has to be the championship now.
they. I mean, theoretically, on paper, from what we've seen, I guess I don't know if that's on paper, but from what we've seen this season, they have looked like the best team in the East. So theoretically, they should be the favorites to make the finals, at
Right.
least out of that conference.
One of the favorites.
Yeah.
I think they're this is a prediction
Okay.
and knock on wood for this one. I
Okay.
think their season's gonna be similar. I'm gonna knock on wood. Similar to the Atlanta Hawks when LeBron was in the East. The one with Kyle Korver, Jeff Teague,
Okay.
and Paul Millsap. Like they'll be number one seed, but they might lose. Might.
I think the one thing. for sure is that obviously this is the best they've ever looked, but they will have to continue it into the playoffs
Right.
because they do have a not great history in the playoffs.
Right.
So, I mean, obviously, if they could just keep playing like this, no issues, right? But
Yeah.
we know the playoffs are different, so that's obviously going to be a thing to look out for. But having, like I said, just having an elite 3-and-D player on top of your team that was already in first place just makes you so much more like playoff and matchup flexible because now you're not weak to a certain type of player as bad as you were before. Like you could just match up better with more people since you
Mhm.
have more defenders. It's just that simple. Um,
Right.
yeah, I do enjoy that trade. Like I said,
Yeah.
very excited for
Now
the
they don't
Cavs.
have any weakness. You
Right.
shouldn't have a weakness.
No glaring weakness to like take advantage of. Um, yeah, the Hawks. I mean, it's cool. Um,
Cool.
some
They
people
have
were
another.
saying they could have
Ooh.
gotten more, but I feel like it's a pretty decent haul. It's nothing
Who's the
crazy.
second player besides Karis LeVert?
Georgie's Niang.
Oh yeah. And then that's it. Did they get a pick?
Three second rounders and two first
Jeez,
round swaps. So not
that's not bad.
not
That's still
outright.
good.
Yeah, no, it was good.
For DeAndre Hunter, damn.
Right, but the fact that he is like such a good fit and role player and like every team wants a DeAndre Hunter. People
Yeah,
said
but
like they
it's like
could have, but I don't think it's a bad return though.
it's not. Yeah, I think it's a great return for the Hawks. I think they won that trade
I
to a sense because it's like I feel like that's what you can throw at an All Star like Tyler Hero.
um, I think Hero goes for. I think I think if the swaps were straight up like giving the picks, that would be for Tyler Hero.
Like, what if they win those swaps? Like, those when they traded Shea, but we knew that Shea wasn't that great yet. You know what I'm saying?
Um,
What if those swaps ended up being good?
I mean, yeah, it's just that I don't. I mean, I'm refraining from saying that one team wins over the other when both teams are definitely benefiting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Like
also true.
I think because obviously the Cavs they were happy enough to give up what they gave up to get DeAndre
Yeah.
Hunter, and the fit is obvious. So I can't really be mad that they gave up two swaps and Karis LeVert in 3 seconds. It's like
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, it's like if this ends up being the championship piece, then it's like by all means. Which in theory it is. This is their weakest position and they just got an elite role player.
Mhm.
So
I mean, Atlanta Hawks too. They got an elite role player because since Jalen Johnson is out, Karis LeVert can make up for that role because he is an aggressive scorer. He can get buckets, and it's another guy that Trae Young could either lob to or pass it to the corner or some shit like that.
yeah. Yeah, it's a and there's apparently no, I'm not and this is not gospel. There is rumor that Trae Young may be dissatisfied in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Could see him leaving
Hmm.
eventually. So, just stockpiling picks, assets for the future in general. Not a bad idea,
Yeah,
especially since the Hawks don't look that
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 great.
good. Yeah, anyways, like it's not like they were, you know, seen as like dark horse play-in type team. Where it's like if
Yeah.
they get in, you might have to watch out. It's like, well, not very scared, but
I mean, I guess at that point, if the trades don't work out, or if the team doesn't work out, I guess Trey needs to look for a contender. He should choose to join that's young and still got players who have a lot of heart.
yeah, I mean, it's too early to tell what pieces are gonna move where, as evidenced by the past week. So, so trying to pick a team for him to go to right now feels a little early.
Yeah, we can
But
always do that in the off
no,
season.
yeah, but just off the top of my head, I feel like, any team that just needs playmaking at all is definitely going to be making a call.
100%.
No. Next trade, the one
Oh,
I'll go
let's
ahead.
grade them.
Oh
Did you
right,
grade them
yeah.
yet?
I keep forgetting about
I
that
think
shit.
it's both A's for both sides.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, I mean, A is good enough for me. As like A minus, like close enough. Like
Yeah.
I think this is very clear what both teams were trying to do, and I think it's
Mhm.
like
The
not.
returns are great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Here's one that's not on the thing. I don't know why it's not there, but I think this one's also very interesting. Uh, the Lakers, as we predicted, were not done. The Lakers had another move to make, and alas, they made the move. Mark Williams, center from the Charlotte Hornets, in exchange for rookie Dalton Connect, Cam Reddish, and a 2031 first round pick that they still had because they did not give it up in the Luka trade.
When I heard that, I called my boy Kev. Shout out Kev. Huge Laker fan.
Okay.
Friend of the podcast. Um, he was kind of heartbroken that Dalton Connect, whatever his name.
Mm,
I liked him too. Number 4.
yeah.
Connect
Kind of.
4. I was surprised they traded him. There
Yeah.
was other names. There's another name in my head that I felt like should have got picked,
Mm,
but damn. Dalton Connect and Cam Reddish, an unprotected first round pick, and a 23 pick swap for Mark Williams. Mark Williams, I watched too, and that's a great pickup. He has been having a great year so far, even although he's been through injuries. He's having a solid year. There's a streak where he was like 20 points and like 15 rebounds. So it's
yeah.
like that's a guy that you need for the Lakers. 7'2" and athletic, which is he's hitting all the boxes that they're looking for. But
Mm,
Dalton Connect is just like he had his big game of the year for the rookie year. 37 points, the 3 pointers, all that.
yeah.
But I mean, at least they traded Cameron. She was not helping out the Lakers as much as I thought he was gonna.
Mm,
But I was honestly confused with this.
really.
Because the Hornets had already traded away Nick Richards to the Suns,
Right. Yeah.
and then when they traded Mark Williams,
Mm,
I was like, what is the Hornets doing?
that's
Are
fair.
you gonna believe in Grant Williams to be your center for the rest of the year, even though you're not a contending team?
I mean, where are they?
But later on, we can get back if you want to talk about a trade where they get a center.
I mean, we
We
probably
can.
can. I mean, we can get to it eventually, but just to get to the Mark Williams side, this is one of the trades where I feel like you really do have to wait to see what happens, because Mark Williams has had such a, I would say, up and down career. Because
Mhm.
when he's out there and he's trying and he's hustling, whatever, like you said, 20 and 20, like he can give you all of that. 7'2", 23 years old. But when he's not playing, he's not playing. And
Yeah.
that's obviously an issue. So he's gonna have to, even though he's young, it's a little bit overshadowed or like diminished by his injury history. Um, well, in theory, when he's on the court, he should be the perfect fit for that team right now.
Yeah.
I say I've heard issues of his like defensive IQ. Um, he's just like he's very gifted, but
Yeah.
hopefully next to LeBron can teach him some things, and if he can get him right, that could be Luka's new lob threat for the future. Um, it is unfortunate though that they had to trade Dalton Connect because
Unfortunate. Yeah.
I did like him there. JJ Redick was so excited to have him I just remember from draft night when Connect fell to the Lakers, JJ Redick was like, "I'm gonna drop so many fucking plays for this guy."
Yeah.
So I get that. You know, they obviously really needed a big man. Like everyone knew, it wasn't a secret. So they had to do it. Otherwise, they really would have been screwed for the whole season.
Hmm.
Um, but I am curious. You said you had another name in mind.
Yeah. I
Who
mean,
was
I
this?
would go on the trade machine, and I'm like doing whatever I can, and I was trying to create. I mean, it's not helping the Lakers. It helps in my mind
What?
because that's my personal opinions. I thought they were gonna trade Rui because Rui
Oh,
is
okay.
he's such a great player. He has a great future,
Hmm.
but his IQ is so low.
Hmm.
There is a clip of them in the playoffs last year of Tyrion Prince, or is it Tyrion Prince, or is that a different player?
I mean, I don't know what
Uh,
situation you're talking about, but
uh, Tyrion Prince, he pushes Rui to guard Jamal Murray because he had an open jump shot, and the
oh yeah,
Nuggets
yeah,
win the game. I think this is when they were 3-0 still, or 3-1, whatever they were at.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, they could have clutched up because they were like tied up, and Jamal hit the clutch shot and sent the Lakers home.
yeah. Hmm.
So I mean, I can't really blame it on that. But this season, he has his points is up and down. He would score 8 to 16, and I don't know what the role is for Rui. Maybe just like a pick and roll cutter for Luka now.
Could be.
Yeah, I
I mean,
mean, pick and roll cutter and shooter from the wing or whatever.
he's a solid enough wing, I think.
Yeah,
Like I don't think like obviously he's not a detriment to the team. Like
he's not
he's not
terrible,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I feel like you can make a lot of good trades with the money he's making.
Hmm. Well, he survives another year.
He survived another year.
So I don't know when Luca's coming back. I don't know if they have a timetable yet.
Luca plans to come back on Monday,
Okay. Cool.
right after the Super Bowl.
Yes, let's go. All right. All right. So yeah, that trade I think is gonna be interesting. That's obviously gonna be one we're gonna be watching, especially since Mark Williams is pretty much starting now. So he has no choice but to be in the spotlight. Um, I think I got one more fun trade, and then I think we're gonna start hitting the rapid fires. Are you ready?
Okay. Actually, I have an idea after that fun trade.
Okay, we'll see what happens.
So go for it.
All right, the big one. We've been waiting for it.
Okay.
Toronto Raptors had traded for Brandon Ingram from the New Orleans Pelicans for Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, a first and a second. Brandon Ingram finally traded.
Finally.
It's been in the talks since offseason. It actually
Mm-hmm.
happened. And now Brandon Ingram still injured, but Brandon Ingram now a part of the Scotty Barnes led Toronto Raptors. I'm not really sure how to feel about this. Because obviously Brandon Ingram can be a good player when he's playing.
Yeah,
But it's just a little
but
funny
he's
that he got traded to the Raptors, who are just kind of like tanking right now.
yeah,
So I was like, all right, I mean, you don't have to play this season. We don't really need you to. Like, we're not trying to win anyways. So, you could just rest up. But I mean, I don't hate it though for either team. Obviously, the
yeah,
Pelicans have been talking about moving him for fucking forever. So it's kind of pointless to say they should have kept him if that's what I thought, anyways, because it kind of felt inevitable. Um, but getting Bruce Brown is cool, I guess. I don't know what his contract is. Um, but he's a cool player. And then I think the big thing is the picks, obviously, because that team is completely decimated. I have refrained from talking about them on past episodes because there's nothing to talk about. It's like
yeah.
Zion, Trey Murphy, and then everyone else is like injured. And they just traded away Daniel Tice also. So it's like
Yeah,
there's
him too.
it's even more dire than before. I don't know. How do you feel? Like this is like I said, this one's really weird, but like it's Brandon Ingram. Like he could do something maybe.
Okay, I just want to make a point.
Yeah.
If the viewers were watching this, I was looking down on my phone. It's just for a fun part of this video, but I was listening. And Brandon Ingram to the Raptors. Are they thinking this is another Kawhi situation where they took them to the playoffs? It could be huge for the Raptors.
There's no way they make the playoffs.
Oh, well, not
No, no,
now,
yeah,
not
yeah,
now.
no, no, I
Maybe,
get you.
maybe in a couple years from now.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe next year. The East is so weak, they literally let go of someone to go to the West. I mean, who knows? Maybe next year they can be a playoff contender. I'm not making them a finals contender yet.
hell no,
They need
hell no.
another piece.
They need a lot. They need a lot.
Someone that's.
That's
I feel like if they get a big name, they can be a finals contender. But with that trade, I think it's solid for the Raptors. They actually found a new scorer that can score consistently. I know RJ Barrett was doing his thing for a minute, but I have not watched any Raptors games or heard from the Raptors so far. If you're a Raptors fan, type in the comments. Tell us what you think. But
yeah.
yeah,
The
but
the biggest thing I've seen is that there was no shot Brandon Ingram was ever gonna sign there in free agency.
yeah,
But now that he's there, he might stay. You know what I mean? He might be like, I'm already here. Like I bought in. Like they've convinced me.
yeah,
So maybe he could be like you said, a piece for the future. But they're really. I mean, I don't think this is definitely not a for this season move. Like
hmm
this is definitely like we're trying to lose right now, and we'll take the picks that. Or well, I guess they traded the picks, but I fucking. But still, it's like sometimes you just need to get better just for the sake of, you know, your team morale and your fans. Give them something fun to watch at least. You know what I mean?
yeah.
You can't just be bottom of the league year after year because you're waiting for the perfect time to hit on draft or to, you know, for the perfect opportunity to make a trade. Like, just you got to start somewhere. So,
I think it was kind of weird that they traded Kelly Olynyk. He is a Canadian and he's
hey,
done
man,
stuff for not the Raptors but for the Olympics. Bruce
sure.
Brown, I understand you traded him because he can help a team, but he's not helping the Pelicans win.
Yeah. Hey, man.
So I he could be cut and waived or something, and someone would pick him up. So
Uh, if Dennis Schroeder can get traded 4 times in 2 days, Kelly Olynyk can get traded out of Toronto.
100%,
All
hundred
right,
percent.
all right. I think that's the last. Like,
We'll do one more
well, which one do you have?
because I feel like you skipped over this one on purpose.
I have no idea which one.
Let's go to your team.
Oh yeah, I forgot that happened. I mean, I didn't forget it happened, but like, I mean, the clear cut hard truth is that Chris Middleton is a negative 90% of the time he's on the court. That's just
Especially with Dame.
there's no obviously respect. Obviously, thank you for 2021.
Thank you for 2020 for sure.
Obviously, that goes without saying. It also goes without saying that he has no knees. He's averaging like 12 points a game. Obviously, injuries have caught him and dragged him down. Can't play
Mhm.
defense. So,
Anymore.
although we love James Chris Middleton. That's his full name, by the way. His middle name is Chris. Uh,
He's
he,
gonna
he
start
was
doing Bradley Beal's job and putting seats in the stadium.
maybe, maybe,
I believe so. He's
because
a former All Star.
he's not going to perform as well as Bradley Beal did back then. But, but with all that being said, the obviously there was a fair amount of backlash over trading for Kyle Kuzma, who's shooting like 28% from three this season. And I get it. It's Kyle Kuzma. He hasn't looked good for how many years.
Since
But
if you watched her episode about the one LeBron James fan
Kyle
versus the 10
Kuzma,
haters,
Kyle
Kyle
Kuzma hit that
Kuzma hit
three.
that. He hit
Well,
that
this
three against the Nuggets. Where
that
I looked back on that video and rewatched it. Nikola Jokic wasn't in, or Jamal Murray, or MPJ, and they won the game. So
uh yeah. So I like as we know, Kuzma has not looked great or good the past season and a half to 2 seasons. But you send a man to Washington, he might not want to play that hard anymore.
yeah,
And that is like the one, like that's like the optimistic view, right? It's like you get him to an actual contending team, a team that has legitimate playoff hopes and like expectations and possibility of winning a championship. He's no longer the first option on his team, or second, whatever. Jordan Poole's there. He no longer has to do that. Now he has the gravity of Dame and Giannis with him. Maybe he locks in a little harder. Maybe he locks in a little harder. That's all.
that too.
So obviously he could contribute very little. He could contribute nothing. He'd give you 12 minutes of garbage. But so would Khris Middleton 90% of the time. And he's cheaper than Khris Middleton, which helped them
And
get under the second apron, which allowed them to do other stuff at the trade deadline. I know that not everybody. I can't speak for all the Bucks fans because there are definitely some that are very angry, but uh, there are more people angry that AJ Johnson was traded than they
yeah,
are about the Khris Middleton, and quite frankly, I don't get it. So AJ Johnson is he's like one of the most raw players that have entered the draft in like the past however many years. He was not going to play for the Bucks professionally, as in out of the G League, for probably like a year or two. And at that point, the window's gone. The window's closed. So I get that he's supposed to be like a potential future point
player.
guard, face of the
Hmm.
franchise, but like we gotta if we're trying to win now, there's no time. Bucks fans have known there's no time for like 2 years. So I get them wanting to hold on to the potential future, but it's also like if he was good, he would just be playing right now. Like if he was good enough to play right now, he'd be playing right now. But he can't contribute right now as the player he is. So he does not help the team win a championship this year. If he happened to be like a diamond in the rough, if he was a god at the 25th pick or whatever it was, he would be playing right now. He'd be the backup point guard, and we'd be like, holy shit, we hit on a good rookie. He
Hmm.
can play for us in the playoffs. He'll be a rotation piece. Awesome. But that's not reality. That's not what it is. So, as much as we want to dream about AJ Johnson, it wasn't, it's not a realistic outcome if the goal is to win this year.
I have a question since you are the Bucks fan.
Yeah, what's up?
Who is your backup point guard for the Bucks?
Um, I know there was a lot happen. Like I said, there was too much that was happening that I like forgot a lot of it. But I do know that Kevin Porter Jr.
Oh
was
yeah,
traded.
jeez, I
But
forgot about that one.
that's what I'm saying. There's too much happening, man.
So you have a new starting shooting guard now.
Well, no, he won't start over AJ Green or Andre Jackson. He's not gonna start. But I don't know who the backup point guard is anymore. I don't know.
Dylan Wright got traded. That's what I
I
was
know.
thinking. Of.
I know. That's why I was like, I don't know anymore. Um, there's a buyout market, it might get something out of there. But yeah, I think that. I mean, Delon Wright wasn't like super good, anyways.
He wasn't, but he
So
just made sense that they needed someone.
No, yeah, I
I
get
guess
you.
the KPJ is.
Yeah, I mean, they have it listed as Kevin Porter, which I guess he probably will be.
Yeah.
Um, but obviously, hopefully he's only playing like 12 minutes a game, and then Dame comes back in and wins. But yeah, that I forgot about that trade because it happened like before all the other ones did.
Hmm.
Then Jimmy Butler got traded like the same day, and then Brandon Ingram got traded the next day, and Mark Williams got traded in between them. And I was like, dude, there's too much happening. But yeah, I don't feel bad that Khris had to get traded.
Okay.
He just was not going to contribute in the playoffs.
Yeah, because he is declining right now. So I
He's
mean,
a,
at least he won a chip.
of course,
I'm
but
happy
I
for
mean,
him.
I mean, declining is an understatement. He's already like at the bottom. Like it's really sad, but that's just the reality of like having like 3 season-ending injuries or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I actually did forget about that. But like that trade would have been enormous like 5 months ago. It feels so muted now. Like that trade would have been insane if it happened in the off season.
Yeah.
But now it's like, oh well, washed player for potentially bad player, potentially good player. Like I said, if Kuzma locks in as like a third or fourth option on the team, he could be at least more valuable than Chris Middleton, which makes it a win. So the person that didn't get traded in this whole chaos was Kevin Durant. There was a lot of
Well, yeah.
rumors around him of he might be going to the Warriors. He might be going to where was it? Potentially the Heat, I think, or there was another team. I can't remember. Regardless, didn't end up happening. And there was the whole Suns situation has been super messy because obviously they keep asking Beal, "Hey Beal, you want to waive your no trade clause or what's up?" And it's like, "No, I like it here in Phoenix. My family likes living here. I kind of want to stay here." They're like, "Okay,"
Yeah.
and then they come back to him a day later. They're like, "You sure? What about this team? Would you waive your no trade clause, go to that team?" He's like, "No, I think I'm chilling here." It's like, okay, cool, cool. And they come back again, and it just keeps happening. So he's been dealing with that. Kevin Durant has, you know, he knows they're shopping him. He knows Golden State was trying, and he said he didn't want to go there. So now he just didn't
Yeah.
get traded, and now everything's awkward in the Suns locker room. Everyone's on edge because everyone was like, "This might be the last game I play with you." I was like, "Oh, you're back. Hello." Um, but
Apparently, the Timberwolves was trying to get into that trade too,
oh yeah,
so they
I was
can
like at
pair
the
KD
very
with
end.
him.
Yeah, at the very end, they were like, "I heard KD was available. I heard he was available. Are you interested in any of our players?" And they were like, "No." It's all right. Good. Have a good day. Um,
Yeah, they did not want Julius Randle. I feel like
of course
it
not.
could have worked out if he was on the Timberwolves. I mean, they
I
finally have a point guard that KD can play with, and they have a scorer. I mean, this is the same thing people would say on the internet, where they're like, "Oh, if you trade KD to the Timberwolves, it's like having KD and Book, but KD and that." And they're two different players. They're both really volume scorers, but one can go inside and dunk on people, and the other one is a scorer, just a scorer.
yeah, I mean, I think it would have been cool
It would have been cool.
just to see it, but I didn't really expect KD to get traded regardless. But you know, he is older. It's hard to trade a player like that.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to go to Golden State, so
Mhm.
he has a say in where he goes. So, it's whatever. I just wanted to put it out there that we could have had, even more chaos at the shot clock if like if he would have been okay going back to Golden State, we could have seen him going there instead of Jimmy. Or with Jimmy, I don't know, in some insane world, maybe. But yeah, I just wanted to put that out because that is something I was gonna say. I forgot about. There's just too much that fucking happened. There's too much that happened, man. I think what we can do is eventually we can do an updated tier list for the
Oh,
new rosters and just with all the info we have now about the teams,
mm,
and then we can bring up the role player trades in that video because, like I
yep.
said, a lot of decent to good teams made a lot of trades for good to decent role players, and to talk about the impact of all of them in this video would make it even longer. And quite frankly, we've had enough trade
Yeah.
nonsense for 1 week. It's not every year you have to make an emergency podcast episode about Luka Doncic getting traded. So we've been we've been at the grindstone this trade deadline. So I think we're gonna call it here. There's been a lot. It is All Star Weekend coming up. The All Star Draft just happened today, also. So we'll figure out what we're gonna do for All Star Weekend. Last year we reacted to the All Star Skills challenges, 3-point contest, dunk contest, all that. Maybe we do it again this year. We'll see. Um, but yeah, PJ, have anything to say to the people?
Mm, I'm excited for this new second half of the NBA season. I want to see Luka and LeBron play. I want to see Mark Williams play for the Lakers. The Bulls, I'm happy for you, Lonzo, for signing an extension. Although I kind of wanted you to be traded somewhere that can help a team win. Um, Sucks for the Suns. I'm sorry, Caleb. I don't know what you wanted for your son's team. I should have asked you first, but
I should talk to
or
Brandon.
Brandon,
Let
friend of
me
the
let me ask
pod.
Brandon. I mean, I might not hear from him after the Super Bowl if the Eagles lose, because he's an Eagles fan. So if they lose, I'm not gonna get a hold of him. But hopefully, hopefully soon enough, I can talk to him again. But yeah, once again, thank you everybody, wherever you found us, however you found us. 100 subscribers. That's so crazy.
That is
If you made it this far, especially, you're kind of a freak. We appreciate you for it. But yeah, thank you for watching. More stuff coming soon. This is the Super Soul Podcast. I am Jacob. This is PJ over here. That's Jimmy Butler. And we will see you soon for All Star Weekend. Have a good day, y'all. Peace out.
peace.